Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video that is part one of two parts, which is all going to be about my motherhood journey. And this video I'm going to focus about kind of how I got pregnant, my pregnancy journey and all that good stuff. So if you would like to find out more, then please keep watching. I thought I would change it up a wee bit today, guys, and film out in the garden. We're obviously all going through a bit of a lockdown just now with obviously the coronavirus, so I thought, why not video outside? It's allowing me to get some fresh air, and it's a nice wee change of scenery for you guys as well who are watching. And on that note, the coronavirus, I hope you're all keeping safe and sound and all your family and friends are doing well, and touch wood, no one has come under the virus yet, so I really hope you're all keeping safe. But moving on, I'm going to get straight into it. So me and my husband Dan, we have been married for a year and a half, been together for over 6 years now, and very early on in our pregnancy, and this is relevant to kind of how I kind of dealt with my pregnancy with Avery, but very early on in our relationship, I fell pregnant with an unplanned pregnancy, and I found out very early, and I unfortunately miscarried. So kind of a few days after finding out I was pregnant, I had some bleeding and some cramping, which can be normal, but I went to my doctor and they said, yeah, look, there's quite a lot of blood you're passing, I'm going to send you up to the hospital and they're going to tell you kind of what's going on. They done an internal exam, and said, yeah, look, there is a sac there, there's no heartbeat, and they also did a kind of urine test, which I think can test it's for a pregnancy hormone, and there's a certain level that tells you if it's over a certain level, below a certain level, kind of what's happening. And they had indicated that due to the amount of blood and things I was passing and the hormone level in my urine, that I was in fact miscarriaging, and kind of gave me the options where, did I want to let things pass along normally, or did I want medication to help, kind of pass on the rest of the tissue. And I kind of just decided to let things kind of take its natural course. But yeah, that was just unfortunately something that just wasn't meant to be. And that was something that it definitely gave me a shock to the system. I was only 24, thought, I'm 24, I'm young, fit, healthy, why is this happening to me? What is it that I've done? Whereas the reality is I hadn't done anything. It just happens to some women, it happens a lot of the time. And it was something that just me and Daniel had to kind of pick ourselves up from. And like I say, it wasn't planned, but it is something that it took us for surprise. It's not how you imagined kind of falling pregnant, what you would kind of have to deal with. But we managed to kind of dust ourselves off and kind of support one another, and we managed to kind of not get over it, but you pick yourself up and you get on with life. So life goes on. the fairy tale continues, kind of thing. Then we get married, and we decided that kind of after we got married that we would start considering trying for another child. And we decided that we were going on holiday. So we get married in July. The December time we were going away on it was kind of like a honeymoon. We were going away to Florida. We had a couple of members of our family coming with us, but we decided we wanted to kind of go away, enjoy our holiday, be able to do all the rides and things like that, be able to have a few cocktails, all that jazz. And we would think about trying for a baby when we came back. And what happened was I got to November and I got halfway through my last sheet of my pill, and I kind of thought, what do I do? Do I go and get like another prescription for some more, or did I kind of just finish off with this sheet? And they kind of say that it takes a while for the pill to come out your system, particularly if you've been on it for a long time, which I kind of had been. When I first fell pregnant, when I miscarried, I was on a pill and had been on it kind of throughout my teenage years. And the kind of GP said that sometimes your body just builds up a wee bit of intolerance, and I think that's what happened the first time. And kind of after that I had changed pill. So from that moment onwards I'd been on a different pill, and that was the pill I was on until coming off in November. And kind of spoke to Dan, and Dan was like, yeah, look, it'll probably take your body a while to adjust anyway. Why don't we just come off the pill? And, you know, you can have some time away from it, you know, before we start trying. So that seemed like the best way to do it. And the first time I got an inkling and kind of thought that I might have been pregnant was, I remember it so clearly, we were on holiday in Florida. We were in the animal kingdom, and we were queuing up to go on the River Rapids ride, and I just remember feeling like just really odd, just not myself, and it came on quite kind of quickly. I didn't wake up feeling like that in the morning. It was just as I was standing in this queue, and I don't know, it was, we just decided to queue up to go on it. We had been on it, I think, previously, and we decided to go on it again, so we were just queuing in the queue, and I don't know if it was the fact that I was on my feet, I was standing in the heat or whatever, I just didn't feel right, and I started to feel some cramping, and I kind of thought to myself, that's odd, I'm not due my period, I had my period during the Christmas break, like, this seemed a bit weird, and then I kind of thought, could I possibly be pregnant? Said to Dan, I was like, this is how I was feeling and whatever, and he was like, look, you've got baby brain at the minute, you know, you're wanting to start for a plan for a baby, you know, we're going to look at that when we get home, you know, it's maybe just on your mind, just don't think anything of it, like, just enjoy the rest of your day. So I thought, right, you're fine, yeah, blah blah blah. And as the day went on, the cramping kind of got a wee bit worse, and I kind of thought, nah, like, this is weird, this doesn't normally happen. And I decided, I kind of made the decision anyway. I was like, Dan, I want to pick up a pregnancy test. So on the way home from Disney, before we got to the hotel, we swung by a Walmart and I picked up a pregnancy test. And I said to him, it'll just give me peace of mind. So we got back to the hotel and we took the pregnancy test, and nothing. Like, it was a negative response, so no baby. And Daniel was like, look, there you go, you've got peace of mind, enjoy the rest of your holiday. So the rest of the holiday went on, and, you know, I did go through periods of kind of time throughout the holiday where that feeling kind of came back, but I just kind of didn't really think anything of it. And then the next time after that, where I definitely thought, this is a clear sign that, you know, something's going on, was when we were flying back home. We were on the plane, and, you know, I'm not the greatest flyer. I don't really like heights. I don't do well with travelling really at all. I'm a bit of a nightmare when it comes to travelling. But we were on the plane, and we were just kind of chatting away, as you do, like watching your wee films and things. And all of a sudden, like, I felt really, really sick. And I said to Daniel, I actually think I'm going to be sick. It wasn't a kind of gradual build up, like when you feel a bit nausea. It just kind of came on, and luckily enough, he had a wee sick bag, and I was sick on the plane. And then after that, I just felt so exhausted, and that continued on until when we got home, and continued on for a few days. So like that, we picked up some more pregnancy tests and stuff, and I kept taking these tests, and every day that went on, I felt like my symptoms got more and more, and new symptoms would come on board. So I would start to find that, you know, I wasn't just tired and I wasn't feeling nauseous, I was getting really emotional, my boobs were getting really sore, and that for me was the key. Like, I thought, for, like, you know, guys who, you know, you don't know much about girl stuff, and it's like, if a girl tells you something's going on in her body, listen to her, because most of the time she'll probably be right. But for me, the kind of telltale sign was the girls. When the girls were kind of acting up a wee bit, they kind of had gotten a bit bigger, they were a bit sore, I thought, yeah, I'm definitely pregnant. And then I got really frustrated because this test kept saying I was negative. It wasn't there, and I was just like, what's going on? Why is this happening, kind of thing. And then I kept taking the test, and I was taking a variety of different ones. I took first response, I took, you know, some wee kind of superstore, like kind of your wee cheapy ones from like the supermarkets. And then eventually I woke up one morning and I'd picked up, and it was the last packet that was on the shelf, and it was first response ones. And I debated whether to take it, because I'd went through, you know, probably about a week's worth of like tests and hadn't got anywhere. And I thought, oh, should I just leave it and come back to another point, or should I take the test? And I don't know why, I just decided to take the test. So took the test, put it on, you know, kind of the windowsill and went away to go make a cup of tea and actually forgot about it. Didn't notice it until I went back to the loo later on that day and looked at the test, expecting it to be a negative because all the rest had been. And I saw a very, 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 very faint line. And I was like, oh, like, is that a line, or is that a positive line, like, or is that just a wee error? Like, I don't know. I wasn't sure. So there was another test in the pack, and then of course by this point it was later on in the day, and I thought, you know, and they always say it's best to take your test in the morning, you know, you'll get a clear response. But to me, I couldn't wait till the next morning. I was kind of sitting there thinking, oh my god, is this a positive, is it not? And you get the mixed emotions going through your belly. You get the flutter of excitement, but then you kind of get that overwhelming feeling of, you know, if you think it's a positive and then it's not, you know, the kind of downfall from that and how you would feel. But I basically decided to take the other test, and 2 lines came up, and the second line was much stronger than what it had been in the first test. And that's when I knew that I was pregnant. And I remember jumping in the car, going over to Daniel's office, kind of bursting into his office, like all happy and stuff, and he's in the middle of a phone call to a client, and just me being like, I'm pregnant, and he's kind of on the phone like, what do you want me to do? I can't, like, he's in the middle of a like call with like a client kind of thing, and came off, and obviously like it was really, really great, showed him the test and everything. We're really, really happy because I couldn't wait till he got home. I can't sit and hold things like that into myself. I need to tell somebody I'm going to combust. And that's when we found out I'm pregnant. But then when I got home and we were home and we were having dinner, it kind of hit me that what if this was going to happen again? You know, what if I was going to miscarriage again? Because this had been a planned pregnancy, and not taken away from the fact that we had fallen pregnant before, but it kind of was a shock to us. So the pregnancy, finding out we were pregnant, was a shock, and then very quickly the miscarriage after it was a shock, and it hadn't really had a chance to sink in properly. Whereas this one was planned. You know, we knew we were ready for a family. We wanted to fall pregnant and have a baby. And for me, I very, very, very quickly became very fearful of that and the possibility of it being taken away from me again. And I mean, I found out very, very, very early on, kind of 2 days after I took that first response test. I took a digital clear blue one that showed up that I was 1 to 2 weeks pregnant. So literally from the first initial point you can find out, I knew I was pregnant. And obviously, to get any private test done, the earliest you can get it done is 7 weeks. So I had nearly 2 months to wait before I could get a kind of official clarification that, yep, I was pregnant, and, you know, was going to get a wee tiny bit of peace of mind. And so we go through the 2-month journey, and I decided to go to ABC 4D in Glasgow. If anyone's looking to go for private scans, I really recommend them, guys. They are great. My sonographer was Claire Louise, and she was an absolute gem. She was great, and the whole team and the whole experience was fantastic. So at 7 weeks, I went for an early test, and yep, confirmed that I was pregnant. There was a wee baby in there with a nice wee heartbeat, and that was that, basically. And, you know, from that point onwards, we were then able to tell, you know, like, we told Daniel's mum, we told brothers-in-laws, sister-in-law, some family that we were pregnant. But we obviously, for the grander scheme of things, wanted to wait till we were kind of over, you know, they say that, you know, that kind of danger period of 12 weeks. So we decided to do that. But at 11 weeks, I decided to go back to ABC4D and get the NIPT test. Now, the NIPT test basically does all your testing for your kind of Down syndromes, is it Edwards syndromes? You know, there's a few syndromes that it tests for, and you would normally get it done at the NHS. I want to say, I think it's between 16 and 20 weeks. I can't really remember because I didn't get it done. I didn't get it done by the NHS because I got it done privately. But I decided to get it done earlier. One, for peace of mind for me, and, you know, for those of you who don't know, autism runs in my family. So the test isn't test for autism, but it was just something that I kind of wanted for a wee bit of security for myself. But the test takes a the test involves getting a blood sample, and they can tell by the chromosomes in your blood what the gender of your baby is. So we got that test done, and it's away usually for about 7 working days. And within that time then, I had my 12-week scan with the NHS, which is your first scan with the NHS. And yep, we got the all clear. Test was fine, baby was fine, heartbeat was good, and we were really, really, really happy. And then we kind of announced it to everybody else that we were having a baby, and that was that. We were feeling very good. Kind of silently, kind of still worrying away to myself, because again, it's still early on, you know. Obviously, the further you get through pregnancy, your chances of miscarriage kind of get lower and lower. So, but it's still at that point, you know, there's still a reasonable chance that you could. Then, not long after that, we got the results back from our NIPT test to reveal that everything was fine. Baby wasn't showing the signs of any kind of disorders or syndromes, and that we were having a little girl. So at that point, we knew what we were having, but we didn't reveal it to the rest of the family yet. We kind of kept it to ourselves for a wee while, and kind of had that kind of wee bit of glory to ourselves, and decided that we would kind of further into our second trimester, when we were a bit further along, we would do a wee kind of gender reveal and have a wee kind of celebration for it. But basically through my first trimester and kind of into my second trimester, I was really sick as a dog. I had terrible morning sickness that came at all hours in the night. I couldn't keep food down. On a rare occasion, I could keep some pepperoni pizza down, and that was about it. It had to come from Oro and Shawlands. That was the only pizza I could eat. So for a long time, I was like a very regular customer there. And I couldn't even keep water down. And it actually got to a point where I had went to the GP just kind of for a checkup, and they were kind of asking how I was feeling and whatever, and I said, like, I'm not keeping anything down, I'm getting a lot of migraines, and feeling very, very worn down. And they were like, look, you need to try and get some hydration, because, you know, that's going to be detrimental to you. You need to get fluid into your system. So they had recommended, like, try your isotonic drinks. You know, they're packed full of stuff that's going to help boost your hydration and replenish what you're losing. So in the UK, that's like your Powerade and Lucozade and stuff, and they'd always give me heartburn. So I decided that I would try a couple of bottles of them. It didn't really work out very well, so Daniel then took it upon himself to get me some Gatorade from America, because I had Gatorade when I was in Orlando and absolutely fell in love with the stuff. So managed to get some of that over, and it actually really, really helped. So for anyone who's planning on getting pregnant, if you go through the same thing, try and get some isotonic drinks. You're fine to have, they don't have that caffeine in them, because caffeine you do need to watch, but most of them are caffeine free, so you should be fine. So you can have, you know, a fair wee amount of them, and they do help. It was one thing that really helped pick me up out of that. And in terms of cravings, I just craved sweets, sugary stuff, and I don't have a sweet tooth, I'm a savoury person, and I wanted cakes, I wanted Krispy Kremes, I wanted ice cream, I wanted Haribo. I just wanted everything that was sweet. I would go out for dinner, and half the time wouldn't even really bother eating my main course, because I just wanted a pudding. It was crazy. But moving on, got to our second trimester and decided to have our gender reveal, where we told the rest of the family that we were having a girl, and that was it. It was official. And obviously we and Daniel were the kind of first ones to have kind of a baby from like our kind of generation, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. He's got a lot of cousins and stuff, and he's the oldest, and he's the first one to have a baby. And me, I come from a very small family, and, you know, first one to get pregnant. So it was quite a big thing. And yeah, so we had that. And in terms of my second trimester, not a lot went on. Second trimester was pretty straightforward. I did have bronchitis for a while, and obviously when you're pregnant you can't take a lot of medications because, you know, of certain risks and whatever, you know, and you want to generally play it safe. So I did have bronchitis for a while, which was a bit tough, so it did involve me spending a few weeks in my bed to kind of get over that. But other than that, I was fine. And just towards the end of my second trimester, obviously your bump gets bigger, and I just started to feel a wee bit kind of worn down and sore, particularly in my back. So third trimester comes along, and you know, by this point you are very clearly a pregnant lady. You've got a nice bump, and I personally loved my bump. I miss my bump sometimes. I sometimes still sit like this, you know, my hands there as if I've still got my bump, but I don't, because she's out and she's in the world now. But yeah, I loved my bump, and I think a lot of women do. I really miss it sometimes, but you know, you never know. One day I might be supporting a bump. Again, we'll need to wait and see. But came to my third trimester, and you know, was starting to just feel really uncomfortable. You know, the midwives were telling me that there were signs of the baby being back to back, and it was quite clear by how she was positioned that that's how she was, and also that I had quite a far back cervix. So it meant that a lot of pressure was basically getting put on my back and kind of my pelvis area. And I very quickly in my third trimester became very uncomfortable, and I was just trying to get things moving. So all your wee old wives' tales that you do to try and get, is it melatonin? No, melatonin's for sleeping. No, it's not. I can't remember. But basically to get things kick-started, you know, they say to eat pineapple, bounce on the ball, lie this way, do this, do that, sex, all that kind of stuff. I was basically at the point where I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. I really want baby to come on time and to come soon. But she showed no sign of budging. And I remember it was the day before my due date. I had a midwife appointment, and midwife was like, yep, baby's back to back, blah blah blah, you're this amount effaced, but I don't think you're going to be going into labour anytime soon. And she was like, have you had any concerns? And at that point I kind of thought, nah, I've not really had any. And she was like, right, that's fine, just go away and we're going to bring you back in a few days time, check you over again. So I thought, right, that's fine. And it wasn't until I went home that night, and Avery, while she was in my belly, was the most active at night time, you know, and you're more aware of it, I think, at night time, because you're just lying, chilling, you know, watching telly and, you know, chilling in your bed and stuff. You become very aware of the kind of kicks and movements. But she was always very active at night time, and that night I felt very little movement from her, and I kind of instantly panicked, because I was like, oh my god, why is she not kicking? And I got up the next morning, and they say, you know, have like a cold glass of water. So I had a glass of ice water, because sometimes that'll give them like a wee startle kind of thing, and they'll kind of move in that. And nothing. I bounced about in my ball for ages. Nope. I tried lying on my side. Nothing. And I very quickly started to panic, because I was like, why can't I feel her? I didn't feel her last night. I've tried all this stuff this morning, and I'm not feeling anything. So I did what obviously your midwives recommend if you're worried, and I phoned maternity assessment, and they said, right, it's your due date, you know, you're full term now, right, you're having these concerns, come in and we're going to hook you up and we're going to just look and see what's going on. So I did, went in, and they hooked me up and had a wee kind of monitor thing on my bump which tracks the kind of movement and heartbeat and stuff. And you know, they did identify that at some points a kind of heart rate dropped a wee bit and there was a reduced in movement, but then she would kind of pick back up and then she'd kind of go down a wee bit, and then she'd pick back up again. So it was a wee bit all over the place. So I was there for quite a wee while, because they like to make sure that there's a certain amount of activity before they send you home. But they then decide, kind of midwives came through and said, look, given that this has happened, and that even though she has shown this amount of activity, there's been this amount of activity where it's not been where we want it to be, so we would like for you to possibly consider the option of an inducement, you know, to maybe get baby out and stuff. And when I did fall pregnant, my BMI was a wee bit higher than what it should have been. It's the case for a lot of women. I'm 5'1" and I'm curvy and I'm carrying a wee bit of weight, so that was something as well that they wanted to consider. Not that I am, obese or anything like that, but I was a wee bit heavier and baby was having this wee bit of bother, so they were like, do you want to consider an inducement? And at that point I really didn't have a clue. I remember speaking to Daniel, and I remember phoning my mother-in-law because she had had an inducement before, and basically everybody was like, it's your choice, it's your decision, it's your body. And I remember thinking, do I let this continue on? What if this happens again? What if, our heartbeat and movements like really get to a low point and then stop altogether? You just panic, and I didn't really know what to do. And kind of came to the decision that, she was full term, it was probably just best to get her out safe and sound, and that's what we did. So they presented me with some dates and gave me a sweep at the end of that exam at maternity assessment, and I was due to go back on the Sunday to get induced, and that's what I did, and that's what I decided to do. So me and Dan went home on the Friday evening. We had Saturday to kind of get to grips, let everyone know what was happening, get certain people on standby. Obviously I had to get the dogs watched, my babies, they were going to need to know what was happening. Mother-in-law was going to need to be on guard for turning up at hospital whenever it was time to turn up, when things were getting going. And yeah, that's pretty much how my pregnancy went. I loved being pregnant. I had quite, an easy one. I had a lot of anxiety about obviously the fact I'd miscarried before, but it's one of these things where you can't dwell on it. Every pregnancy is differently. Every pregnancy is differently. This is mum brain here. Every pregnancy is different. And to all you pregnant ladies out there just now, I just hope you're keeping well. I know it's a really difficult time for you. It's a horrible time to kind of be sitting, knowing you're going to give birth with everything that's going on just now. I just really hope you are staying strong. Try not to worry. Worrying, affects the baby. It truly does. Try and keep calm. And, if anyone needs any support, like, please give me a wee message, a DM or something. I'm here if you need to talk. Just really try and stay positive, guys. But on that note, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And please stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be all about how my birth went and bringing my little angel into the world. So I hope you all have a lovely day, and I hope to see you all soon.